For this sequence, choose 20 divided by 10, that gives us 2. Again, choose 80 divided by 40, and that is equal to 2. Thus, the common ratio of this sequence is positive 2. Moving on here, we have this number sequence: 3, 6, 12, 24, and then ellipsis, which means the sequence keeps going. This sequence is geometric because a new term is produced by multiplying the previous term by the same number. In other words, take 3 and get the next term by multiplying by 2 to get 6. The 6 gets multiplied by 2 into a 12. Then multiply 12 by 2 again to get 24. So it's a geometric sequence and the common ratio is 2. Now, what if somebody would ask, what's the 11th term? Well, one way to do this is to keep multiplying by 2 until we find out what the 11th term is. But let's find a general way to do it. Let's illustrate this sequence using a table. In the first column, let's write what the number of the term is, like 1, 2, 3. But let's use a slightly different notation. Instead of 1, let's write a sub 1. Instead of 2, let's write a sub 2, and so on. In the second column, let's write the terms. So the first term at a sub 1 is a 3. The second term at a sub 2 is 6. But we get that 6 by multiplying the 3 by the common ratio, so let's just write 3 times 2. Now, if I take that term and multiply it by the common ratio, I'll get the third term. So that would be 3 times 2 times 2 again. In the same way, the fourth term at a sub 4 is going to be 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now, instead of writing all of these 2's, we can use an exponent. So, we can take that fourth term, 3 times 2 times 2 times 2, and write that more simply as 3 times 2 to the third power, or raised to 3. The term before that would be 3 times 2 raised to 2. Again, the term before that, which is just 3 times 2, using an exponent, we will write that as 3 times 2 raised to 1. Now, if we keep using exponent, the first term, which is 3, will be 3 times 2 raised to 0. Since 2 or any number raised to 0 is just 1. Now, let's take a look at exponent and the number or position of the term. What is their relationship? For the first term, a sub 1, the exponent is 0. For the second term, a sub 2, the exponent is 1. For the third term, a sub 3, the exponent is 2. What are we doing here? We are taking the number of the term, subtracting 1 from it, and making that the exponent of the common ratio. In other words, the exponent of the common ratio is less than the position of the term. So that means if we want to find a term, let's say that term is n, or the nth term, let's set that equal to 3 times 2, and my exponent is 1 less than the number of the term. If the number of the term is n, then the exponent is n minus 1. Now we've got a general rule for this sequence. So if we want to find the 11th term, all we have to do is replace n with 11. So that means we will have 3 times 2 raised to 11 minus 1. Simplify that, we have 3 times 2 raised to 10. 2 raised to 10 is 1024. Multiply it by 3, that gives us 3072. Therefore, the 11th term, or a sub 11, for this sequence is 3072. So, now that we've got a rule for this sequence, let's see if we can make a rule for any sequence. We said that the nth term is 3, which was the first term, times 2, which was the common ratio raised to the power n minus 1. But instead of writing 3 for the first term, let's just use the notation a sub 1. And instead of writing 2, which was the common ratio, let's write r. And the exponent is going to be n minus 1. With that illustrative discussion, we can say now that the nth term for a geometric sequence with first term a sub 1 and a common ratio r is given by a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So, if you're given a geometric sequence and you're asked to find terms, you can just plug in or substitute the numbers into the general formula. Now, let's do this. Write the rule for the nth term of the sequence, -2, 6, -18, 54. Then, find the 10th term. The first thing that we do is to identify the given. Do we know the first term? Yes, the first term is -2. Do we know the common ratio? Yes, the common ratio is -3. Therefore, the rule for the nth term for this sequence is a sub n is equal to -2 times -3 raised to n minus 1. Now, to find the 10th term, just plug in 10 to n, then simplify. Therefore, the 10th term for this sequence is 39,366. Now, let's move on to geometric means. Note that knowing the nth term of a geometric sequence will help you to determine geometric means a lot easier. But what are geometric means? Geometric means are terms in between two terms of a geometric sequence. In the sequence 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, 2, 4, 8 are the three geometric means between 1 and 16. To solve for the geometric means, the first step is to solve for the common ratio. Example. Insert three terms between 2 and 512. Note that since we will insert three terms, then there will be 5 terms in all. Let us identify the given values. A sub 1 will be equal to 2. A sub 5 will be equal to 512. And n is equal to 5. Let us use the general formula. Then substitute the given values. A sub n now becomes a sub 5, and a sub 5 is equal to 512. A sub 1 is 2 times r raised to n minus 1, or 5 minus 1. Let us then simplify. 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. To isolate r raised to 4, let's divide both sides by 2. 512 divided by 2 is equal to 256. Let's solve for r. Take the fourth root of each side. The fourth root of 256 is equal to positive and negative 4. there are two values of the common ratio. Thus, we will also have two sets of geometric means. Now, if r is equal to positive 4, the second term is equal to 8, the third term is equal to 32, the fourth term is equal to 128. So, if r is equal to positive 4, then the three geometric means between 2 and 512 are 8, 32, and 128. If r is equal to negative 4, the second term will be negative 8, the third term will be positive 32, the fourth term will be negative 128. So if r is equal to negative 4, then the three geometric means between 2 and 512 are negative 8, 32, and negative 128. Get it? Let's try another one. Insert two terms between 6 and negative 162. Since there are two missing terms, then there are 4 terms in the sequence. Let us identify the given values. What is the first term? You're right. The first term is equal to 6. How about the last term? Correct. The last term is equal to negative 162. And the number of the terms is equal to 4. Let us use this formula. Then substitute the given values. So a sub n now becomes a sub 4, and a sub 4 is equal to negative 162. A sub 1 is 2 times r raised to n minus 1, or 4 minus 1. Let us simplify. 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. To isolate r cubed, let's divide both sides by 6. Negative 162 divided by 6 is equal to negative 27. Now, to solve for the value of r, we need to extract the root. Take the cube root of each side. The cube root of negative 27 is equal to negative 3. The cube root of r is equal to r. Therefore, the value of r is negative 3. Now, with that value of r, what are the two geometric means between 6 and negative 162? You're right. The two geometric means between 6 and negative 162 are negative 18 and 54. That ends our discussion. I hope the examples are clear to you. You may now work on your printed module, where further discussion and additional examples are provided. However, if there are concepts that are not fully clear to you, you may ask or seek help from your elder siblings, your guardian, or parents. There you go, our dear learners. Thank you for watching, listening, and participating today. Don't forget to watch and listen again to our next episode on Geometric Series. This is your teacher Robbie telling you that life without mathematics would be impossible. So learn to love math and enjoy learning.
Good morning. My name is Jerilyn Malado, your grade 11 teacher in caregiving. Today, we will be learning about picking up and cuddling procedures. You will be encouraged to actively engage yourself in exploring the module, read the topic discussions, and do the learning activities provided. This is the module in TVL Grade 11 Caregiving, entitled Picking Up and Cuddling Procedures. After the lesson, you are expected to master the desired learning competency and to achieve the following learning objectives. First, identify the 3 types of hold used in cuddling infants and toddlers. Second, explain the rationale of steps in picking up and cuddling infants and toddlers. Third, perform the procedures in picking up, cuddling, and laying down infants and toddlers. Before you proceed to the lesson, you have to answer the pre-test or the what I know part. If you get all of the answers correct, you are still encouraged to go through the module. In Lesson 5, you have learned about nonverbal cues and right approach to calm and console infants and toddlers. Why are nonverbal cues important again? Correct. Nonverbal cues are important because this may tell us the reasons why babies cry. What are the reasons why babies cry? The reasons can be that the baby is hungry or underfed, the baby is wet or have had a bowel movement, the baby craves for sucking, the baby wants to be held, the baby is tired, the baby is ill, the baby has indigestion, the baby has heartburn, or the baby has colic or kabag. So what if the baby is hungry? Of course, you need to feed the baby. However, if the baby refuses to eat the food, then probably the baby needs something else. It would be helpful if you would change the diaper of the baby. Or probably the baby only craves for some warm hugs from you. Since infants and toddlers cannot yet express themselves verbally, it is up to the parents or caregivers to check and analyze cues given by babies. So we have now here Activity 1. Let's unscramble and match the words. After answering Activity 1, you can check if you got the answers correctly by checking the answer key located at the end of the module. You did great! You will learn more about these concepts in our lesson for today. Let's find out. Do you also have the tendency to carry and cuddle a baby when you see one? Babies seem to have that magic that makes you drawn to them. In childcare, safety is a priority. Be careful when you are picking up and cuddling infants and toddlers. Since their bodies are still delicate, you might hurt or cause them injuries. Babies, especially newborns, cannot yet fully hold the weight over their head. Always make sure to support the head and neck like what is shown in this photo. As you can see, the caregiver is supporting the baby's head and neck using her palm. Also, avoid shaking the baby. Shaking a baby may cause bleeding inside of his or her head, increasing pressure on the brain. This photo shows the movement of the brain when the head is struck or moved forcefully. This can happen to a baby's brain when he or she is shaken. It is also important to keep yourself safe while caring for babies. One way for you to do this is by observing proper body mechanics. Proper body mechanics refers to the way we move our bodies. By positioning body parts properly, we can avoid muscle fatigue and injury. Just like what is shown in this photo, you need to bend on your knees and keep your back straight. Here are the procedures in picking up and cuddling infants and toddlers. First, position yourself in front of the baby's crib. Next, spread your feet apart to keep your balance. Third, lean close to the baby. Fourth, bend your knees as you lean over the baby. Fifth, place your right hand, if you are right-handed, under the baby's head and neck. Sixth, spread your fingers to support a wide area of the baby's head and neck. And then, as for your left hand, you place it under the baby's buttocks. Number 8, pull the baby close to your chest. Slide your left hand up the baby's back as you lift him or her up. And the 9th one is stand straight up. Let's move on to the cuddling procedures. To cuddle the baby using the traditional cradle hold, cradle the baby's head in the bend of your elbow and support the baby's back and thighs using your forearm. The opposite hand and forearm supports the baby's back and buttocks, like what is shown in this photo. To cradle the baby using the football hold, place the baby between your right hand, again, if you are right-handed, and right part of your chest. Support the baby's head and neck using the palm and fingers of your right hand. And then, use the forearm of the same hand to support the baby's back, buttocks, and thighs, like what is shown in this photo. To cradle the baby using the shoulder hold, hold the baby up against your chest and shoulder. The palm of your left hand supports the buttocks of the baby. The right hand supports the head and neck, like what is shown in this photo. So there you go. Those are the 3 types of hold that you can use when cuddling babies. Watch the video to see how these procedures are done. Demonstrate 2 procedures. First is picking up and cuddling infants and toddlers. Second is laying down infants. So for our materials, I have here the crib or the baby's bed, and I also have here a baby mannequin, or this is also called the infant dummy. So let us begin the picking up and cuddling procedures. So first will be to position yourself in front of the crib. This way you will prevent yourself from overstretching. As you can see, I am now in front of the crib. Second step will be to spread my feet apart so that I will maintain balance as I go through the different process. Third step will be to lean close to the baby's bed as near as possible. Next will be to bend on your knees, not your back, so that you will prevent yourself from having backaches. Okay, so I'm now going to pick up the baby. Since I am right-handed, I will use my right hand to support the baby's head and neck. And then I will use my left hand to support the baby's buttocks. So, I'll show you how. Again, right hand to support the baby's head and the neck. And then the other hand to support the baby's buttocks. Then I'm going now to pick the baby up and move the baby against my chest. Next, we have the cuddling procedures. So first is the cradle hold. So for the cradle hold, I'm going to slide my right hand down the baby's buttocks. And then I'm going to position the baby near my breast. So this is your cradle hold. The next type of hold is the football hold. So for the football hold, I'm going to position the baby here on my right side. So I will be supporting the head and the neck of the baby. And then the other one is still on the buttocks as I move the baby in between my right hand and my right chest. This is your football hold. The third type of hold is the shoulder hold. So for this type of hold, I am going to put the baby up against my chest so that the baby's head is resting here on my shoulders. Since you already know how to pick up babies, I added procedures in laying down infants and toddlers. Here they are. First, support the baby's head and neck with one hand. The other hand support the baby's buttocks. Second, position yourself in front of the baby's crib. Third, bend your knees. Fourth, move your body as close to the surface of the crib as possible. Fifth, remove the hand that is supporting the baby's buttocks. And then sixth, remove the other hand that is supporting the baby's head and neck gradually. Understood? Thank you for your participation. In What's More, you will be presented with Activity 1 and 2. Do it one after the other. If you have some questions, ask the help of your parents, guardians, or siblings. You can also text, call, send, or post message in my messenger. Answer the questions in What I Have Learned. Then, in What I Can Do, you will be presented with Activity 4, where you will perform the procedures by yourself. Practice how to do the procedures. Then, film your performance using your camera. Do not forget to save your video and submit it by the end of the week. You have to answer also your post-assessment so that you will know whether you mastered the learning competency or you need to go back to the activities where you got low. Use the answer key at the back page to check your answer. This is your module on TVL Grade 11 Caregiving. I hope you will have an exciting time accomplishing the activities. Thank you and have a wonderful day.